8:45. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by J. Yogaraj, read by Soundithavam. The visiting Britain, South Asia and Commonwealth Minister Tariq Ahmad met the Prime Minister. Cabinet nod to amend workmen compensation ordinance. The central bank governor noted that the country expected to witness a 5% growth rate in 2022. Latest announcement on tonight's power cuts. Prosecution evidence against Hemasiri Fernando in the Easter Sunday attack case concludes. The daily COVID cases count moves to 829 today. Sri Lanka reports another 12 coronavirus deaths. In news overseas, Tonga volcano, new images reveal scale of damage after tsunami. In sports, India tennis star Sania Mirza to retire after the 2022 season. The visiting Britain, South Asia and Commonwealth Minister Tariq Ahmad met Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. The meeting was held at the Colombo Hilton Hotel yesterday. The meeting was focused on promotion of tourism, foreign employment and education sectors. Minister Tariq also assured to strengthen the bilateral ties between the two countries in the future. The Cabinet of Ministers has given its consent to draft a bill to amend the 139th chapter of the Workmen Compensation Ordinance number 19 of 1934. The amendment would update the benefits paid to workmen who are injured in the course of their employment. The clearance of the Attorney General has been received for the bill drafted by the legal draftsman. Meanwhile, the Cabinet of Ministers granted approval for the proposal tabled by the Minister of Labour to publish the relevant bill in the Government Gazette and table the same in Parliament for approval. The Ceylon Electricity Board, CEB, says disruptions to the power supply can be expected today from 6 p.m. to 7:45 p.m. and from 7:45 p.m. to 9 p.m. depending on the demand. Reportedly, supplies from generators at the Kalanitissa power station are yet to be restored. Earlier today, operations at the Kalanitissa power station, which generates 300 megawatts of electricity, were halted completely due to the lack of fuel for the generation of power. A spokesman for the CEB has also stated that the power cuts would be imposed until the operations at the Kalanitissa power station are brought back to normal. Meanwhile, Energy Minister Udiya Gammanpilla told media persons this morning that two ships carrying 37,500 metric tons of fuel docked at the Colombo port have begun unloading the stocks. The lawmaker revealed that 10,000 metric tons of fuel of this shipment, which is sufficient for 8 days, will be provided to the CEB for power generation. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The Colombo High Court trial at bar today concluded recording evidence in a case filed against former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando relating to the Easter Sunday bomb attack. Deputy Solicitor General Sudarshana De Silva, appearing for the Attorney General, informed court that the prosecution has concluded hearing evidence in the case. Accordingly, the High Court trial at bar bench announced that the order regarding calling for defence evidence will be delivered on February 18th. The Attorney General filed indictments consisting of 855 charges against former Defence Secretary Hemasiri Fernando and former IGP Pujith Jayasundara. The two former top officials have been accused of failing to take measures to prevent the Easter Sunday attacks despite having prior knowledge of the attack. The daily count of COVID-19 cases recorded in Sri Lanka moved to 829 today, January 19th, the Health Ministry said. According to the Government Information Department, the newly detected cases include 9 individuals who recently arrived in the island from overseas. The latest development has brought the total number of confirmed cases of coronavirus reported in the country so far to 598,536. As many as 568,637 recoveries have been confirmed in Sri Lanka since the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. More than 14,600 active cases are currently under medical care and the death toll stands at 15,243, official figures showed. Meanwhile, the Director General of Health Services has confirmed another 12 coronavirus-related deaths for January 18th, pushing the country's death toll due to the COVID-19 pandemic to 15,243. The deaths confirmed today include 5 males and 7 females, while 2 victims are between the ages of 30 to 59 years. The other 10 patients are aged 60 years and above. That concludes local news.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The central bank governor Ajit Nivad Cabral noted that the country expected to witness a 5% growth rate in 2022. This, coupled with the resumption of tourism and the return to normal from remittances, is expected to bring the country back into a more comfortable position in terms of foreign exchange. Cabral called on the critics of the current government to realize that a large amount of the debt had been revolved at the existing rates and that only the ISB debt had been paid down as it was imprudent borrowing. That concludes the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
Moving on to Watchlight, health authorities have requested the public to follow health guidelines strictly as the corona infections crossed the 700 mark for the last 2 times in the week. Although it was observed that there was a sharp drop in the corona infections during the last few days, that cannot be taken for granted, the health authorities warned. The Director General of the Health Services, Dr. Asela Gunawardena, said that it is a high risk for the public to be involved with large gatherings or get-togethers. He requested the public to refrain from travelling between the provinces. He pointed out that 400 to 600 corona patients are still being reported daily from the country. Therefore, he emphasized that the pandemic can spread rapidly again if the public act irresponsibly and came to you in Watchlight.
Coming up, World News.
Making headlines tonight, Tonga volcano new images reveal scale of damage after tsunami. Hana Harka, Czech singer dies after catching COVID intentionally. And Bali bombings, Indonesia jail stop militant over deadly nightclub attacks. New pictures have emerged from Tonga, revealing the damage wreaked by tsunami waves triggered by an undersea volcano. They show the Pacific Islands blanketed in a layer of volcanic ash, while in coastal areas the waves have torn down trees and ripped buildings apart. Saturday's tsunami left at least 3 dead, including a British national, and crippled communications. International phone links are said to have been restored, but a severed undersea cable may take weeks to fix. A folk singer from the Czech Republic has died after deliberately catching COVID, her son has told the BBC. Hana Horka, 57, was unvaccinated and had posted on social media that she was recovering after testing positive but died 2 days later. Her son, Jan Rex, said she got infected on purpose when he and his father had the virus so she could get a recovery pass to access certain venues. The Czech Republic reported a record number of cases today. A court in Indonesia sentenced the leading member of the Islamist militant group that carried out the 2002 Bali bombings to 15 years in prison. The court in Jakarta found Zulkarnain, 58, guilty of terrorism. He had been on Indonesia's most wanted list ever since the bombings and had evaded arrest until December 2020. The blasts at 2 bars packed with tourists on the holiday island killed 202 people from 21 nations in Indonesia's deadliest militant attack. Back to the headlines of the world news. Tonga volcano, new images reveal scale of damage after tsunami. Hana Horka, Czech singer dies after catching COVID intentionally. And Bali bombings, Indonesia jail stop militant over deadly nightclub attacks. That concludes this bulletin of world news.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
The tourism industry of the country is slowly returning back to normal. The first 2 weeks of this month show 9,172 foreigners visiting the island. Minister Prasanna Ranatunga said, out of which 6,963 tourists from Russia visited the country and came to you in Development News.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Moving on to sports news, it's tennis. Former Wimbledon doubles champion Sania Mirza, one of India's most celebrated sports stars, has announced she will retire from tennis after 2022. Mirza's comments came after a first-round loss in the women's doubles in the Australian Open, reports said. Quote, "I've decided that this will be my last season. I'm taking it week by week, not sure if I can last the season, but I want to," unquote, she told reporters. Mirza, 35, became the first Indian to win a WTA singles title in 2005. That came to you in sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
In its continued efforts to help the healthcare sector better combat the COVID-19 pandemic, SLT Mobitel, the national ICT solution provider, donated 3 vital multi-para monitors to the Balapitia Base Hospital recently. SLT Mobitel officials handed over the equipment to Dr. K. Samaratna, the hospital director at the Balapitia Base Hospital, and came to you in business news. Economic news up next.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
Benefiting from the normalizing of economic activities in the country, the manufacturing PMI continued to expand in November 2021 and recorded an index value of 61.9. The significant increases in production, new orders and stock of purchases sub-indices mainly contributed to this improvement in the PMI. A significant increase was observed in new orders, particularly in the manufacture of food and beverages sector. Many respondents in this sector mentioned that they secured more orders in November 2021 than the previous month for the upcoming festive season and came to you in economic news.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
The Weather Report.
The Met Department says showers or thundershowers will occur at a few places in the Uva province and in the Hambantota district after 2 p.m. Mainly fair weather will prevail elsewhere. Meanwhile, the international weather forecast website AccuWeather.com reports that the day's weather was observed to be bright with occasional showers. Today's daytime temperature was around 29 degrees Celsius. There will be light showers in many places in the Colombo district in the night. Tonight's temperature will be around 25 degrees Celsius and there will be scattered showers in selected spots late in the night. The ground temperature would be 25 degrees Celsius at the time of this news broadcast. The air quality index AQI is 19, which shows fair conditions in Colombo. The air quality is generally acceptable for most individuals. To conclude this bulletin of news, a recap of the headlines. The visiting Britain's South Asia and Commonwealth Minister Tariq Ahmed met the Prime Minister. Cabinet nod to amend Workmen Compensation Ordinance. The central bank governor noted that the country expected to witness a 5% growth rate in 2022. Latest announcement on power cuts tonight. Prosecution evidence against Hemasiri Fernando in the Easter Sunday attack case concludes. Daily COVID cases count moves to 829 today. Sri Lanka reports another 12 coronavirus deaths. Tonga volcano, new images reveal scale of damage after tsunami. And Indian tennis star Sania Mirza to retire after 2022 season. That concludes tonight's news broadcast.